Hey guys, it's Sharon with Little Britain Company, and I am here with, ooh, look at that, with a new tutorial for you, and I'm just so close to the camera, I can't stand it. I wanted to do another quick tutorial. It's still, Christmas was 2 days ago. Um, the Christmas season is not over yet. We still have family we're going to be seeing. Next week to finish our Christmas things up. So you may still, need a quick gift or something really cool to share. And so today we're going to do that. Something that's really fun and that honestly anyone can use, and you can use whatever fabrics you want on. It doesn't have to be Christmas. So what we're going to do, and I do have a previous tutorial on this, but today I'm going to do this one just in Christmas fabrics. I thought it'd be fun. We're going to take this Dollar Tree dryer mat and we're going to turn it into something really special and fun. And, well, come on, let's take a look at how we do this. Okay, so we start by just, pretty simple. I'm going to make sure I clip off all of their little tag pieces. I actually do this pretty carefully. I don't want to pull any threads. And the way these are done, it's actually really, really easy to pull the threads out on here. So I think it's just those two. Let me get rid of that. Yeah. So we've got those two. And then you don't really have to, but I do get rid of this. A little information there. I'm going to actually be sewing to this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to snaz this thing up a little bit. Let's see if I can make that. Nope, I'm only going in with that way. This might be a little bit harder to see. What I want to do is even this up. I want you to just look at how uneven this is. You can see from here. Actually, this one I'm going to zoom in for you to see this. So right here you can see how it starts to come out and it just gets more and more uneven. And we don't want that. You want to make it nice and straight and even. So we are going to even this up. How about I just start with evening it up? I think I can do that. And I just have to decide what that's going to mean. I'm going to use these lines. They're naturally built in, and for the most part, I think that we can work with them. I'm going to try to put this one. That is actually not as easy as it looks. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put, that'll be easier, that line right there. So I've lined this line up. If you can see it at the top, there we go. I've lined it up to the one here, and down below I've lined it up to the 11 so that I know, so that I have something to measure against. And I'm going to be using my 1/2 inch and lining it up. Okay, there we go. This might be tough. You're going to see the top of my head in a minute. Just want to make sure that I have that well lined up. And I'm going to hold on tight, actually. See if I got it all. Whew. There we go. Yeah, that was the extra.
But now, I have a nice straight side. Still a piece didn't want to come off, but because of that. Okay. So I am going to be cutting off. I mean, they've got these edgings done. Yes, that's going to get cut off, but that's okay because we're going to put a binding around it. All right, side number 1 is done. Oh my goodness, look at all those little bits and pieces it left behind. That's going to be fun. Okay, side number 2, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line up. Oh, this one's really off. Actually, maybe less than I think. All right, I'm going to line that up literally right at the top. It just barely fits. Right there. And we're going to once again line that up. This always takes me a minute because I like to measure it several times. All right, now I'm pressing down actually pretty hard. Sorry that you're getting... There we go. All right, so taking a look at this one, I want you to see kind of how off this was. Thickness to thickness. That's the difference. So, it's a big difference. All right, so we've got those two pieces done. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish up by lining up these last ones. Dude, this is so off. So, this time hopefully you can see it a little bit better. Don't mean to knock into that, I'm just trying to fix it a little bit for you. So, this time I can actually line it up directly on the bottom. I have straight edges now. Relatively straight edges, holy cow. So the whole thing's slightly out of whack. I'm not going to worry too much about that now. I have straight edges. And that's what I'm going to use for my measurements at this point. Bring that upside down. There we go. It is, by the way, not the easiest thing to cut through, because you're cutting through a lot of lengths there. It's thick. And again, way off. That side was a little bit less off than the other one. Okay. And last one. So I'm just going to line it up straight, get it as close as I can so I don't have to lose much more. Because I don't want to lose much of the length and width of this, but I sure as heck don't want it that wonky. See if I can lower it. Ooh, there we go. That one was probably the closest. There we go. You see that? That's how hard it was.
So although I am still in my Christmas mode and I refuse to move into Valentine's Day mode, even though most stores are, with these red ones, this is a staple. They always carry the red. I think they almost always have black. There's a blue that they now almost always have. So this is one color that you could certainly do a really cute Valentine design on. But today I'm going to do Christmas. All right, so I've got my base. It's squared up. About as square as it's going to be. I'm going to take it. I'm going to fold it in half. There we go. And I'm just going to put a clip. I'm going to open it right there. I'm going to put a clip top and bottom where it is in half. I'll show you why in a few minutes. Okay. So I have my approximate top and bottom. Okay. Might be a little bit, wait. I'm going to do that again. Just to make sure I know where my middle is. Yeah. I moved this one over, but I shouldn't have. I know it looks like it's not right, but it is. It is on this side more than, all right, there we go. That's better. Okay. And so I found my middle and I didn't pin it because I don't need my exact middle, but I have my clips here and that's going to show me my middle. All right. And we're going to get started. Okay. So now it's easy. And if you're better at choosing fabrics than I am, oh my goodness, thank goodness. Because I struggle. So I've decided to use this piece first. And although I don't think it has directionality, I'm going to choose the one that has the most, that looks the most directional. Okay, so I want you to be able to see what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this chunk and I'm going to cut it because these mats could be slightly different sizes for you and for me and for whoever else is doing them. I'm not going to give you a specific size. What I will tell you is that on the mat, I'm going to cut it probably an extra inch in both directions, just so I know for sure I've got plenty of room. And then I will put this aside for some other project. Okay, now I want, what I'll end up doing is doing everything in one direction and then I'll move in the other direction. And I know that sounds weird. I'm going to do it wrong. I don't want to do it wrong. That'd be wrong. Yeah, I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's just kind of the way it works. It's better if you do it in both directions. So what I'm going to do here too, and I'm not, this isn't going to be perfect, but it's going to be close. It's going to be okay. So what you can see I did here was I just kind of measured this one. So this sat so that these were in the middle of the top and bottom of this, because that's what I want this to be relatively straight in the middle. Then I'm going to take this one. I am not going to worry about lining it directly that yet. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this piece. Again, I'm not hugely worried. But it does give me a strip left to do something else with, which is kind of fun. Remember that we said we're going to use this on both sides. So I'm just going to put that one aside, and then easy peasy. Here we go. Except that here we don't go. All right. I've got the first one on. I'm going to go ahead and give it a with this one, I'm not a big fan of pinning. Y'all know that if you've been watching me. But with this one, I am going to give it a quick pin only because I need to move it out of the way for a second. Want to know why? Because my top thread is a lovely off-white. That's fine. But I want my bottom thread to match this. I don't want to be doing something... I don't want to put that one too far. I don't want to be doing something that's so far off that it won't make sense. So this thread, you can't see, this thread is going to just blend right in. So when you look at the bottom of this, you're not going to know, oh, hey, it's not going to look odd. It's going to look like it was always that way. Hope I have enough on this spool. I think I should. On this bobbin, I mean. I should. Okay, so I'm getting that one in and settled. And through. I have a Singer that I use. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this piece ready before I go too far.
Just so I don't have to keep stopping and cutting and stopping and cutting. I'm going to cut this one. Cut there. You can see I'm going a little bit over. It doesn't have to be huge. Putting that piece aside. So I've got a couple of those pieces now. And then I wanted to go another cream on the outside of that one. So I'm going to do this last one. And once I do this one, we'll know whether we need it. Look at all this thread. We'll know whether we need another one. Now this one might... you might not see the whole thing on this one. Just the way the nature of it. And then we'll figure out what we'll do for the rest of it. Okay.
Better. Okay, here we go. I'm going to roll this up a wee bit so I can get this under. And I am going to start right about there. It's probably pretty close to a 1/4 foot. I'm actually starting just on the outside of this. And I'm not going to worry too much about it. I don't need to back stitch. You can, but I'm not going to back stitch only because I know that this is also going to get binding over it. So about to knock. Oh, and I did. Right off the edge, it knocked into some of our next pieces. There we go. The other way. And just like that, first piece is done. Okay. Kind of just like that. What's going on here? Okay, we got a piece in there. Don't know why, but we did. Okay. Now, look at that. First piece is done. Actually, I'm already liking it. I'm digging it, man. Okay, so you can see all I did was I put this piece. Oh, good Lord. You can't see me. Let's pull you back a little bit. All right, so I laid this piece good side up. I put them good sides together, and I just made one seam. This one's still loose on this side because I'll be doing the same thing on that, in that direction. Next piece we're using is the green. And I do the exact same thing. I'm just going to put the green right over the top of this, lining them up. If you want to, you can put, I don't know why I do it with this one. I feel like with this one, I don't know why that's not going through. I think like with any quilting type thing, they can shift so easily. So I'm just gonna anchor. That's it. I'm just anchoring a little bit. Hold in place. There we go. And we're back to sewing. Okay. And again, I've decided just to line this up with the inside here, which should give me approximately 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/8. It's okay. And I am not bothering to backstitch or to anchor it. Certainly could. I have to. I need to move those around. It keeps I had the fabric up here and it's just knocking it off. Okay. And again, I'm going to move that off. Okay. And again, I can't wait to finish all of these spaces up. So you can see you are losing a little bit of your length of your fabric. These are 2.5 inches. So I'm doing approximately 1/4 inch. So we're going to make these are going to end up being approximately 2 inches. And you can kind of see that playing out. All right. So what did we decide next? Yeah, definitely going to need this one and probably one more on the end. And we just have to decide what the last fabric will be on the end. And that will certainly give, I'll be able to give you all better distinction. It's been a while since I've made one of these. Let me make sure these gifts are going in the right direction. Luckily, that one was not directional. So I certainly have made a few of these. And actually, I have a more spring-like tutorial out on this. But I wanted to just show you just how quick and easy this can be. And again, a drying cloth is something anybody can use. And honestly, we all pretty much need it sometimes, whether it's dishes that really shouldn't go through your dishwasher and you're hand doing them, or honestly, when our dishes come out of the dishwasher, they're still damp. They're still, sometimes they're still wet. So I like to I have to get used to this. So I've got the camera kind of in front of me and I just need, we've got a different camera. Ouch. That was not well done of me. We have a different camera that I need to really start using that should give me the better angles without having to be directly in front of me like this. You can see even now this this must be kind of stretchy, because even now, even though I've tried to even it up, even though, you know, we've done our best to make it as even as possible, it still looks a little bit wonky, you know? But that's okay. Okay, so, yep. So we're doing pretty well. I need one more material on the end here, and I like the red. I'm liking this red. I don't know why. Okay, so let me go ahead and figure out. Put that back over there for a second. And then I'm going to cut 2 pieces of this. Also, this red at the end, it's not going to be the same, it's not going to fill the same space the other ones are. And that certainly happened with my previous ones. Just couldn't really remember, but, okay. So now I do want to make sure that I'm, you know, every time I lay these down that I'm kind of pushing it. And it still goes wonky. But you can kind of see when I measure this up, it actually is about, I know it looks like it's so skewed, but when you look, oh, you don't see those. Okay. If you're looking at the measurements, the actual measurements here and here, this is the same amount, but it sure doesn't look like it. It sure looks like this is bigger than that. I don't know. We're just going to go with it. It'll look fine in the end. Okay, again, I'm going to smooth out to the side. You could even iron it if you wanted to on each side. I'm just making sure that I have got it, you know, in place, holding on. That is so weird. It's like some weird trick on the eye. All right, so we're back to sewing. Yep. I always laugh at myself. Because I want things to go so smoothly. That's just not me. Okay, so you can see it's coming off. Yeah, it's still a little wonky, but it comes off just a little bit on that side. Okay, so this is our first section down. It's looking really cute. This is really cute. All right, I'm really liking it. So next, I'm going to go back. Oh, look at that. See, there's still another smooth one. Now, be careful on this side. I could run a quick iron over this one. This piece is directional. And what I need to be careful about with my directional ones is I have flipped this over. So I need to make sure that I'm seeing which direction this should go in. Because all of these directions, anything directional has to be going in that direction. Because that's the direction this one is. And so this one, I almost put it directionally towards me. And so I just need to be careful with that one. I don't like that crease. And I think that crease is going to get in my way. And I will tell you, I'm just going to iron it right on here. I would, you know, this is cotton. This is meant to be a dish towel type thing. But we sometimes use the top of this as a hot pad. So I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so each of these, we're now, okay, so I'm going to get it together any minute now. So you noticed that I did this section, I did this half, And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this half. And for whatever reason, it just makes it lay correctly. If you do it the other way, if you just try to go straight across, it gets, I mean, it's wonky enough. It gets seriously wonky. So we want to make sure that we're going in one, that we do it in one direction and then the other. Let's see if this is, I only need it for like there we go. Quick and easy. My big iron. I remember I told you all about burning the floor. Super fun. So I did order another mini iron because I like to use the mini irons when I am over here in sewing. I usually use the big Aliso when I'm quilting. And again, for this, I don't want these to shift. So I'm just going to do a quick tack down. You can't see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. I am out of frame. And I'm going to fold this over to put it in. Also, look at the back. You might be able to, I mean, you can see that there are ridges, but the color of my, if only I could think. The color of my thread, it just makes everything blend so, ouch. So that's the second time I stabbed myself. So well. But I'd really like to not bleed on my project. I think that's something to, to aspire to. But I can't use my clips on this. So what I could say is I'm making all the mistakes so you all don't. Look at that. That one's already off. See? I don't know if you can see that. I can. That one was slightly off. There we go. So we're just fixing it. I thought about buying a cordless iron, but what did I do with? I'm moving it over here so I don't keep knocking it off. There we go. All right, and this one is really kind of doesn't have a direction to it, which is great. So again, I'm just pushing it over a little bit just to get it nice and even. Now I'm about to get lazy. And I'm about to stop pinning. Let me get this under here. Mostly I'm going to get lazy because I keep stabbing myself. And every once in a while you just check that you're on track. And away we go. And there we are. We're getting there. And so my next one is this one. I need to do a quick, that one also needs a quick iron. It's got a super long cord, and this one, I feel like it is kind of directional, and I think the direction needs to be, yeah, because I think some of these big packages, well, it's both ways. It's both ways. All right, so I'm just going to line it up. So, yes, I do get, I can get kind of lazy about pinning things. I was pinning it at the beginning. Now I'm like, But if if you feel like you need to pin it, absolutely pin it. Sometimes I do. Let's see how my table bounces. I try to get some control over that. And so you can see that it's just not going to be perfect. I don't care what I do with it. And that's okay. This last little piece, there's going to be less of this on this end. But honestly, guys, when people look at it, they're really not going to notice. They're not going to notice that no one's going to look at it and say, wait a minute, that's only an inch and that one is an inch and a half. They're just not going to notice. I promise. All right, let me do a quick iron on this one. So, as quick as this is, we're going to get to this part, and then I am going to set up the binding. And then I'll show you how I do my binding on these. There we go. But I'm also going to show you the back because, guys, we are almost done. Almost done. And that's with me messing up and not having fabrics picked. This is such a quick thing to do. Now I've got a lot of bulk, and you notice I keep moving this. That is really just to keep everything lined up well and moving straight. There we go. There we go. It looks funky, but okay. So let's take a look so far. This is where the project is so far. Okay, so now you can kind of see. I mean, it looks like a beautiful placemat, and you actually could turn a bunch of these into placemats if you wanted to. And just this is such a good, easy base. So look at the back. We've got threads going, but other than seeing that there are creases, it's hard to see much else going on back here. So the next thing I'm going to do, this is just all in preparation. Oops, I just hit the camera. Hit the arm. Sorry, I didn't mean to rock it. So the next thing I'm going to do is just really simple. I'm going to trim off these edges. So I'm going to grab my nice ruler right here. I'm going to line it up exactly on there. Just going to trim. And hope that I got it all. As I'm cutting through. Let's see, did I get it all? Oh, come on. The end always wants to be difficult. All right, there we go. I didn't even bother cutting off my threads at that point because it was all going to come off here anyway. So that's it. I'm going to go around. And we're going to do that for each of these. Now on these ends, I do just what I want to make sure that that's nice and flat. We've got the funniest little tiny threads holding on some of these. Okay. And last one, and it's absolutely shedding. I mean, you all can see that there's bits shedding here. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. Now, there is a step you could take here if you so chose. You could try one more time. You could, come on. I'll finish my thought at some point in time. You could just simply sew this down, just right along the edge if you wanted to. It won't really make much of a difference when you get to your final stage because that'll be covered up. But if it makes you more comfortable, let's see, we can zoom. Nope, too far. How's that? I can go, and it, for me, for right now, I am going to tack it down a little bit. Let me bring this back down. So I am going to go ahead and just do a quick tack. Not tack. I'm going to go ahead and sew it, but what I know, move that a little bit more, is that it's not going to make a huge difference. It'll make a difference to me just knowing that it's not going anywhere. Because I really want to make sure that I don't have a problem with it. I don't want to pull it too tight. Ooh, it is going off and wonky on me. Did go a little bit wonky. But again, you won't be able to see it. And now it's kind of, to me, I think it's more solid. I am actually going to pin this one down just a wee bit right here. My word. Just keep it in place. All right. So this is going to be it for a few minutes. And then, holy cow. It's kind of funny because I can't go too fast on my machine because if I do, everything will shake off. Everything will just go nuts and shake right off. All right. I did not do that particularly well. I was not being particularly careful with it. But like I said, that's okay. All right. Now, my next thing to do is I'm going to decide what I'm going to do as far as my binding. And then that'll be the last thing. So let's take a look. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the binding. We have our beautiful project about ready. Look how cute this is. I think it turned out really cute and I love it. I've been wanting to do a Christmas one, so super excited to get this one finished. So what I'm going to do next here is I need to do the binding. And I decided that this would make a really cute binding. Look at that on that side and how it's going to make this side look cute too. All right, so to make our binding, and this is the one, boom. This is the thing that always makes everybody, including me, go, I don't know about that. And I'm with you. I am so with you. I tell you what. I'm turning my iron back on because I know I'm going to need it. Let me just get that. I unplugged it. And y'all know why. You were here and you heard that last story. Let me get this plugged back in. It's a super long cord, and the last one had a super long cord too, which can be great or not so great. Okay. All right, so this part's going to take a few minutes to do, just to set it up and to get it done. There are quicker ways to do this. I looked around. I did not have any pre-cut 2.5-inch strips that I wanted to use for this project. That would have been much easier. I often use pre-cut strips for these projects. Sometimes I'll match up different ones, and I like the look. With this one, I just decided I wanted to do it this way. But if you have 2.5 inches, you can skip forward to the attachment phase. Yeah. What I do need to do before I go too far is I need to iron it. I have this wonderful quilt, the Quilter's cotton press, because I can just flip it and press, and then flip it back over and do my cutting, which is brilliant. It is just brilliant. So I'm going to be cutting strips. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a very, very quick press. It's not terribly hot yet, so it's getting there. And I don't need it perfect. I'm not even using my starch. Well, the starch is not a terrible idea. I have this weird, I really actually like starch. Okay. I'm not going to need much of this. So while I do this, let me talk to you about how I decide how much I need. How much do I need to cut, or how many strips do I need? So really, it's all about finding the perimeter of your project and then adding a few inches. So the long sides of this particular project are 17 inches, approximately 17 inches, and the short sides are 11.5. And when you do that math, you're going to end up with 34, 44, 54, 55, 56, about 57 inch perimeter. That's about right. About a 57-inch perimeter. And so I want to make sure that I have probably 75 inches, just so I have a little extra. I know that might seem extreme. It's not going to take that much to get to that. This particular strip that we're looking at right now, this is with a fabric. So this is going to be about 42 inches once we cut it. And so it's going to be about 42 inches. So I really only need 2 of these to sew together. And now that we are nice and pretty well pressed, I'm going to fold this over because I don't have a huge amount of space to work on. And the fabric will really tell you whether it's going to work for it or not. All right. So I flip it over again. And make sure I've kind of lined these up. This is where the original cut was in the fabric. Let me see whether they cut it straight. They cut it pretty straight. That is pretty spot on, I've got to tell you. Wow. don't remember where I got this one. Okay, so because they cut this so straight, which is lovely, I don't really have to worry about it too much. I could recut it just to make it absolutely straight. I'm not going to, ooh, sorry about that. I'm not going to be that nutty. I could be nutty. I am often nutty, but I'm not going to be this time. So I am actually going to do this at 2¼ inch. Now again, absolutely, I could do 2½ inches, and if I had strips, I would do 2½ inches. I would, just because it's easy and pre-done, and I like, you know, anything that makes it a little bit easier, more power to you. All right, I forget what this one's called. Oh man. So I do have a problem. This is a great blade, but you really have to watch what you're doing with it, because I just ruined that. Because this is my Martelli, and the Martelli is so good that if you're not really holding it to what it's supposed to do, it'll go off on a tangent for you. You don't want that. All right, let me recut that. I'm just gonna show you how it is, because I'm just gonna be honest with you. We all make mistakes. I might make, more than others, but like I said, that's just little old me. All right, let's try that again. I love this blade. I love this cutter, but really keep it. Oh my word. This thing I need to replace the blade, and I didn't do it before we started, and I should have. Let's see where we are. That's going to help me measure it up. Oh boy. So absolutely, when you're using one of these, keep your blade nice and sharp. I need to order some more blades directly from the company. Good grief. All right, that was more difficult than it should have been, but there you go. I've got a 2¼ inch. And this one is 2¼ by, like I said, about approximately 21. I'm sorry, 40. So I just need 2 of these. So let's see if I can do another one. This ought to be interesting. All right, cut number 2. Coming right up. I keep saying this is easy. It is easy. It's not difficult. I am making it so much more difficult, and I'm so sorry. I don't mean to make it difficult. Okay. Let's try you again. Okay, the reason I keep using this one is it's just so easy to use when you're sitting. But okay, we're pretty good. Come on. Wow, that thing is so stubborn. Let's hold on. All right, there we go. Let's take a quick look at it. Yep. All right, we got 2¼ inches. Gracious, that was ridiculous. All righty. Move this out of the way. gonna hang it behind me. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna put it behind me because it's being difficult. All right, so now we have our lovely pieces. And we just have to join them. I'll leave it like this for a minute. At the moment, I'm not going to worry about my selvage. And I know that seems weird, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. Here's why. Okay, I have to remember, goes this way. I want these to go this way. So I'm going to take these two pieces. I'm actually going to line them up. I'm kind of using my selvage as a guide. Okay. When I do this, when I join my pieces, I do like to go a wee bit over. I just want to line them up so that they are directly kind of perpendicular, yeah. Giving me this nice sort of 90-degree angle. I'm going to sew straight across from one corner directly to the next. And so when I unfold them, they'll do that. But I like to leave an extra edge to it, I guess. I like to go over the top. That's what I'm missing as I'm saying this. So I do like to go over the top. Now, there are things you can do. If you are more comfortable, you can draw a line directly from one corner to the other, just so you have something to follow. And I'll go ahead and do that this time, just to show you what I mean. Because if you've never done this, I remember how confusing this can be. Seriously, it still can be confusing. I always have to take a little trip down memory lane to remind myself how to do this. All right, so I'm really just going to go from one corner to the next corner. That's it. Get that on there right. Okay, now, so I will tell you, I still have my red bobbin, and I'm not going to worry about it. Because I don't really need to worry about it. It shouldn't show. So, not, good gracious, this is, okay, I can't do it that way. I'm trying to do it so that you all can see and I can see, but I'm going to move you to this. Oh, I'm going to knock this camera around like crazy. How's that? But I can zoom in for you so you can see better what I'm doing. Sort of better. And so I can kind of see too. So I do kind of line myself up just like so. And if I did it right, we'll see. It looks pretty perfectly joined. So we did it right. So we're coming back over here. I'm going to cut some of that excess off that I don't need. What did I do with my big scissors? Lost them. Got a lot going on over here. All right, I'm just going to trim this down. I don't want all that bulk. I'm going to give this a little, I'm going to give that a little trim right there. Gracious. Oh, come on. There we go. We're going to this one a little trim right here. Okay. Now, we're going to toss those. So now, you can see this thing just goes on and on and on. This is about 80 inches, way more than enough for the project that we're working on. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to press this. I'm going to press this open. That is actually how I prefer to do these. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, let me just do this real quick. And again, if this is pretty good, then you're doing fine. You really are. Don't worry about it. If it's not like absolutely dead on perfect, it's not going to ruin your project. It's going to be fine. I promise it's going to be fine. Okay, move that out of the way. All right. It's pretty. I just keep looking at it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to put this down a little bit. I'm going to trim this little piece off here. I don't need it. And I'll do that at the other end in a few minutes. And then with this one, I am going to now. Yep. I'm going to cut a little corner here. I'm pressing that just so it gives me the quick and easy corner. Because I'm kind of cheating. I don't honestly have to cut this off. People do. I'm going to. Don't have to. Because I already pressed it. Right. So I've already pressed that little section. Now, I could have pressed a little bit more. Could have left a little bit more, but it's fine. Now, all I'm going to do is fold this in half and start pressing.
Just like this. Get on the right side. I got this on the lucky side. Sharon. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm being kind of quiet right now, which is rare for me, you know? But every once in a while. Okay. Do it. And again, you know, perfection is seriously overrated. It's gonna be placemats. You can see how you can begin to kind of get the idea of how long this really is, and it is seriously long. We'll cut it down when we get further in, and there's a couple other little tricks and tips I'm going to show you that I do. Now, you might be a pro with this, you might have other ways of doing your binding, which is all wonderful. Mine is absolutely not the be-all, end-all. It's just the way I do it. Done so good. It's pretty close. That means that I just retouch, although I don't actually think we're going to get that far. Okay. Yep. Turn the iron off. There we go. Okay, now, keep coming, and we've made our binding. Believe that little binding. I'm actually going to fold that over just a wee bit more. Because I just cut it too close. When I cut it down, I should have given it a little bit more room, but I didn't. So I'm just going to go ahead and give that. And then I'll fold it back over and do this. Just making sure that that's good and solid. And then I'll just give that a retrim right there. Not even going to get out my base scissors for it. I'm happier with. I'm happier with that. Now, the next thing I do is not go straight to binding. The next thing
I do. I'm going to come over here to my corners. Because I know, gracious, what is that? Oh, I see. I got sewn down. That happens sometimes. So I know when we come to our corners, I need a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to find my 1/4 inch on here, which is this one. Yeah. Yeah. No, this one. Gracious, Sharon. All right. So get you. Oh, ooh, let's go on a little ride. There. Okay, so this is my 1 inch. This is 3/4, 1/2, and 1/4. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my 1/4 from both sides. Okay, so this is 1 inch, 3/4, 1/2, 1/4. There's my 1/4 inch. And I'm actually going to do two things. I'm going to lose that. So I want to make sure that I know where my 1/4 inch is. Let's see if I can get this white chalk to work for me. It's not really working for me. Okay, so my white chalk isn't working for me, which is a pain, but that's okay. I can do it this way. That's why I grabbed this. So I know right here is my 1/4 inch. I only have to do that on one side. I'm going to start with this side. I'm going to do my 1/4 inch here. I know where I am with it, so that when I come down this way, I am going to stop at my 1/4 inch. That actually tells me stop here and turn, and then when I'm going to stop and I'm going to turn off. So I'm just doing that with the first section. Now, I'm going to find my lovely I have to think. I should have done it. Wow, if only my brain would work. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so I've got everything in place. What I did was I opened up my binding so far. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to just sew down this side. Yes, I did switch sides. I switched it around because I realized just the directionality of where I wanted it to be. It's no different from what we did before. I just used the other side. So I'm going to go ahead. The inside of this foot is actually a 1/4 inch, which is what we're going to be doing. 1/4 inch. I'll try to keep it on that one. Now, as I started out, I'm actually going to just go down a couple of inches. What that is doing is it's kind of locking in. It's locking in that section, I guess you could put it. Because I'm going to then start this folded section. I'm going to start this down a little bit further. That gives me room when I join the pieces to actually slide that other piece in to join it. Does that make sense? You'll see. All will be revealed. Just gracious. Tell you what, guys. I don't normally struggle with this. Maybe it's just being on camera. It's making me struggle a little bit with these things. Okay. Yeah, that gives me plenty of space. Move it down just a little more. To slide the piece in. There we go. Now I'm not worrying a whole lot about back stitching right there because I'm actually going to be going over the top of that one. What I am going to do is constantly check to make sure that I'm lined up here. This part's important because this is what gives you a finished look. All right, that's about at my 1/4 inch. Now, I'm going to spin it so I can see where my I'm going to come off. And I think you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. I am simply going up and back down. I'm just lining it up. I'm at a nice angle here. Lining it up. There we go. Now for this one, I don't want it to move. I'm just gonna throw that little pin in there. Just to stop it from moving. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to go down here to the bottom, right down here, and I'm going to do my little marking again. This one's a little bit funky. Okay. This one is a little bit funky, and it's going to give me a wee bit of a hard time. But we can work with that. Especially when we remember nobody's perfect. I am far, far from it. All right, so right there, that's where my pen's going to go. Oops. Let me double check that side's in good, but let's... Wait, what? Believe it or not, I really just stabbed myself again. There's my 1/4 inch. Okay. Now, go around again. You're going through a lot of material at this point, so Just keep that in mind. That is funky right there, so. And I'm spinning so I can see my quarter, or where is that where that corner is? And off. And back up. Okay, and again, remember I want this to be flat. Got that where I want it to be. It's going okay. It's a little rough at the top, or it looks a little rough because the material got a little rough. So I'm just putting this in just to hold it in place as I come around. Okay. I think my camera might die at any point in time now, just to let you know. Shoot. That's not far enough in, I don't think. There we go. It's pretty good. Okay, so remember, I'm going to come down here, put my pin in place, and wow, this does not want to go in, huh? Try that again. So I put one in place, and if I'm worried about this, making sure it goes in front to back, I'm just putting that one in place to help, come here, guide it, if it can go in. Wow, it did not want to go in. Okay. Y'all can see this. We're actually almost there. Forget it. I'm going to do this freehand right here because it is being funky. Okay. Okay, since I haven't pinned it, I just keep checking. Material can be super funky. It likes to move and push itself around a little bit. Oops. Okay. There we go. Maybe I'll just use a Wonder Clip for this one. Okay, final corner to do our cornering on. Find my 1/4 inch. Approximately, that's, try again. Okay. Does not want to move through. That's what I mean by it's just so super thick. Sometimes when you get to those. Now, I don't know if you can see this little extra bit of fabric down here. I'm not worried about that. I'm lining this up to this. That little extra bit of fabric, I can trim that off. Okay. So what's important here is to keep this all lined up. And boy, does it want to move. Right there. Pull that piece out. Let me look for my corner here and, oh, what did I just do? Nothing good. By the way, can you all see my watch? Okay, that's AM. it's like 10 minutes to 2 AM. So I'm getting just a wee bit tired, and I've got to now refixate this little thing. Wow. It'll be fine. Just a little bit tired. Okay. Last bit. Actually worked out fine. All right, so I'm just putting that to rights. Okay, I'm putting my clip on it. I'm going to do that really quickly because when I start to sew, I need this piece now. Ooh, my stand. Let's redo this. Okay, so this is where we are going to fit this piece inside, and it needs to go long enough that it can fit fully inside, right? I don't need to do it at an angle or anything. I just need to make sure it's long enough. So let's cut it right up there. There we go. Still have a decent piece of that left. That may even be too long, but let me see. I'll do it. I'm going to do it a wee bit shorter so it fully fits under there. This is just so much easier than some of the bindings that used to. Okay, and it goes. Now, is it coming out a little bit here? Yeah, of course it is, because you're looking at extra material on top of material. So it makes sense that it doesn't fully, fully come in. But let me make sure that it works from here to here. There we go. That's better. It needs to be, there's a needle man. It needs to be taut. That's better. Okay. So now we're ready to do this final part. So far, so good. My camera hasn't died. I'm waiting for it. Any minute now. All right, so I'm going to take this out real quick to do this part. Sorry, let's get you back over here. Here, I'm kind of looking ahead a little bit. Let's make sure that goes on. Okay. The binding is on. I'm going to trim off some of these threads. There we go. And I'm going to start coming around. To the front. Now the front, it's coming around pretty nicely to the front. Here's where I'm going to take a lot of extra time, or a little, well, a lot. I'm going to take a little extra time and just making sure that this is right. So when I come around, I want to make sure. And I'm going to use, where are my clips? I've got all these extra things. I don't know why. I really need to get rid of some of this extra clips that I have in here because I generally just use my small ones. Holy cow. Those big ones are for quilting. Let's see if I can get to my small ones now. Mostly, when did I last use these? The big one. All right, just moving some of these bits. You know what? Let's just do that. Let's move these into, I have a great idea. I have just a great idea. Remember this little basket? Let's put those in here. These big ones have really been getting in my way lately. Okay, so I've got my small Wonder clips. And I'm going to bring these over and I'm going to start lining this up. What's going to be important to me here is that this is even. So I'm going to use a lot of the Wonder clips. Truly, I'm going to use a lot of them. Okay. We may need to speed this up for everybody. So, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see me do this one. When I get to these corners, I'm just going to make sure that I give it a nice mitered looking corner. So that may take a wee bit of work right there. I'm going to use a pin for that one. Still don't have it right. Now I do. Okay, once I get it down, you know what? Let me do this. Or it might help if I do it this way. Really, you're just pushing it there. That's easier. Okay. Let's see if I got it. I'm really just pushing the corner out. Now, that did not help. It was looking good for like 5 seconds. There. Just what I did with the one before. Okay, and again, I'm just not perfect. I'm going to make it's going to look good, and honestly, unless you are another sewer, I don't think you're going to notice if the miter isn't exactly spot on. Maybe you will. I suppose some people will. But I'm not going to really worry about it too much. But if I do get it exactly on, I'm going to be delighted. I'm going to be pretty happy. All right. So I just keep going around really just like this. And a lot. This is the one place. You could pin it too if you chose to pin it. I like to use the clips on this one, mostly because it's so thick that the pins are a little bit harder to get into place. And as I do this, I'm just making sure that it's pretty even. That one's going to be harder because that's where the pieces come together. You've got an extra thickness there. Just keep that in mind as you're sewing. Go slow. You don't want to break a needle. Let me move you back a little bit. Okay, so far so good. They're cornering pretty well. Shoot. Shooba dooba. So I think these are super fun. Again, it's not as hard as I'm making it look. It's so much easier than I'm making it look. The first part's so nice and easy. You get to that and you're like, ah. And I don't know that there are easier ways to do the binding. This is actually a really easy way. I've just made it look, I'm so sorry. I made it look more difficult than it really is, because it's not. And again, if you're making this, especially if you're making it for a gift or you're making it for someone, don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, getting the corners mitered, hey, that looks really cool, but it's not necessary. They could just be a straight up and down. A lot of people are doing that now, where they're just going straight, and that's also great. It's great. So just saying. All right, let me move these out of the way now. Okay, so we're close to being done. It's looking pretty good. Let me see if I can pull that up. No, that goes in. Oh, that's too much of me. Gracious, let's make sure you can see this. You can see the back actually looks really nice. I hope that you can that you can see that in the light. I think the back looks really nice so far. And now when I do this final part, remember that my bobbin is this red, and you really won't see that change. The final thing, that when I start to sew this on, I just want to get super close to this edge, as close as I can. I'm not worried about hitting what's behind it. I don't want to hit what's behind it. Well, I mean, I don't want to hit this part. I don't have to worry about that. I just want to make sure that this is down and nice and solid. So I'm going to pick a side, and I'm going to start there, kind of part of the way through. So, whoops. First, I'm going to knock into you. There we go. And again, this is thick stuff, so I do want to go fairly slow. So I'm going to start. Great, my needle's not in the right position. Let's get that needle back up again. There we go. I'm going to start right about here. All right. So I'm going to put you all in at the side. Get that. So here we go. So hopefully you can see, and I can see. I feel like breaking into song. It's kind of the do you see what I see? And as I knock into, all right, how close am I? Oh, that is close. I don't know if I can maintain this. I'm going to try. I'm going to bring it. That's better. Let's see, can you all see? I think I can make it. Yep, that's kind of good right there. I'm trying to get you under here. Okay. Right under here is a tiny notch on the inside of this. That's what I'm sewing to, or at least it's what I'm trying to sew to. It's also why I'm going good and slow, because I find that a wee bit hard to see. Yeah, I'm getting quiet because I'm trying to... Missed it. Shoot. Okay, I've got to get this in. There we go. Starting to get there. Should try to put music in here or something so I don't bore you to death. Okay, this is coming up on where we're really have the thick fabric. That went over actually better than I thought it was going to. This would be the place where I think I would cry if I ran out of either bobbin or any of my threads. I think this would be the place where I would just... not be a happy camper. Having said that, let me make sure that... oh yeah, okay, we're okay. Tomorrow, I am picking up one of Little Britt's friends and taking them out for a while. We're going to go see a movie, and I'm going to take them to Chuck E. Cheese where they can play play games instead of just video games. Thought that would be a little bit more active. Just a fun day just for him. Used to be, he loved doing stuff like that with just mom and dad. But they start to come to this preteen, teenage. He'll be 13 in a few months. I know he thinks he's ready. I sure as heck am not. I'm not ready. I'm going to switch that over. Okay, I'll try to, there we go. Sure I'm catching everything. So far, so good. Okay. How far do we have to go? Okay. Okay, turn this over. Oh, we're getting fun. Okay, here we go. Okay, I almost lost that piece. Right, this is good. All right, guys. Oh, remember when I said I would cry if we ran out of the bobbin? I spoke too soon. I just realized. Guess what? Ran out of the bobbin. Okay. Let's repin. Let me, this is where I stopped. I'm going to go ahead and put this back. And yep. I jinxed myself. Oh no, what if we run out of the, oh golly. Okay. We were almost done. Look at that. Okay. Look how good it looks. All right, that is where we started actually. So trim that. All right. It looks so good. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to, all I have to do is finish sewing around here, and I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to change the bobbin, but that's pretty much it. So these are so nice and easy. This now becomes for us, because I've got cotton on the top. I'll use this as a hot pad. I do not suggest anyone else do. I know they're using polyester underneath, so but I've got this, you've got this really nice mat here, and you can use it either way. I very much like the color that we went with around the corners. I mean, not around the corner, around the binding that we went with. Tell me what you think. I will show you the finished product at the end, but I'm not going to bore you while I change the bobbin. So let's take, okay, here we go. Finished product. Corners came out really well. I'm actually really happy with this. This is going to be for our family. So we're going to be using this. Yep. So the binding came out really well. The corners came out really well. I just had to go back and change. So always check. I would say, I know better, and I called it, always check your binding, your threads before you start your bindings, just because that's a pain when you're in the middle of binding. But I love it. I hope you all love it too. Please let me know in the comments. I hope you give this a try. Again, this is much quicker and easier than I made it out to be. You just have to, if you follow the steps, you'll be fine. In the meantime, I'll see you guys later. Cheers.